Welcome to TradeTheNBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 7th. And, well, we weren't expecting a whole lot, and we got pretty much that. A little bit of a partial fill. I was only about a third back into the giant up candle. And so that's probably going to have to get a little bit more. But if it's able to hold up into here and we continue with the strength in the MBI readings here, we're still very strong above 33 as well as above the yellow, and that critical drop off of white MBI means shorts just not having quite the strength. We can see a return to the DOC, and we're getting a reset from the midterm buyers as well as short-term buyers, but solid red DOC still rising, and of course iron still is below red. Now that can change pretty quickly, but that's likely to just be a soft reset as we're still seeing rising shakeouts. So still a bit more time to go before anything turns around and rolls over at this particular stage. So I think we're just going to see a little bit more of the same back and forth, unless there's some impetus that's going to drive it. And of course, we'll be always watching the Nasdaq on that one because it's been in the lead and has been pretty consistent with this movement. But 25 shakeout's very high. Yes, it can stay that way for some time, and we do know these positive extremes will get filled, but not until we get some kind of softening of this. And particularly what's going to happen though when you get this kind of DOC red rising, it reaches a point of exhaustion, and usually you get a pretty significant turn down. The fact that DOC steel is below the negative 13 is also going to express some weakness. But if you get a reset here of the DOC green as well as even a rollover of red, it's not going to take much for that turnaround to be that next push that breaks things out. The question will be just how much of a reset you get before that takes place. And it doesn't appear like it's going to be much. When we're this inflated towards the 100%, obviously we look to the 76 as a likely pullback zone, or at least some portion within there. And this particular stage, we've got some softness from the Nasdaq, and whether that will equate to the ES, it'll be interesting because these last few days we've been seeing the ES kind of catching up to where the Nasdaq has led. Uh, that's lovely. Turning to treasuries, a little bounce back up in the in between area, and that's just still not going to be enough. I mean, you can see from that white MBI, this is going to pull itself back down. There's just no question about it. So they're just kind of trapping more people into that setup of, oh, Fed's going to have to soften. It's not going to take place. The euro's still languishing at zero with white still leading. It's not going to move anywhere above that 23 at this particular point. Oil still holding nicely, and that is positive. It's not great, but definitely could go lower. And with that MBI weight spike, potential is there, but you still have enough of that MBI lead with the magenta that it's holding up, but looks like we're almost getting a rejection. If we get a strong enough rejection of DOC cyan to green here, then we might begin to see a little bit more of a fade. I think that OPEC cutting the production kind of scared some people, thought things would spike, but we'll see if that production side is about just trying to limit the growing supply of oil or if it's a perceived economic downturn. And from gold, like we said, nothing's going to happen there. Same thing with cryptos. They're just kind of languishing until there's some kind of thing. And the 50K chart still continuing to pop in and out on me for some reason. But when we look at it intraday from that 5 minute, again, it's this post market where we get the fill back down to clear out any stops it can, and then they just bring it right back up to where the even was. But for the day, pretty much things were remained flat until really the active session got going, and there really wasn't a whole lot of volume in it, and that just allows for that quick little pop fade back, and then at the end of the day we had the spike. Now in post market, of course, interestingly enough, a lot of that was not under positive extreme. We just had the dips below the red line from an extreme, and in post market um, they just filled that back in, and as soon as they did, bringing it right back up again. So it looks kind of neutral, but intraday the swings are fair enough. And that beeping sound is TS going on and off. As always, though, we'll update you on the Skype chat. Anything relevant, trade well.